Hello, universe. Welcome to Off the Rails with Tom and Mark.
Welcome back, Universe of Off the Rails with Tom and Mark, episode 103, our first ever 103rd episode.
I haven't been on in a few weeks. That's the first time we had that opener?
Yeah, we got a couple surprises
because I didn't know when it was
week.
going to end. I'm like, this thing is too long.
It's great.
All right, we are Off the Rails, and we are coming to you from the Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty Studio here in always beautiful Grafton, Wisconsin.
Hey, and you know what? If you're looking to buy or sell a home or interested in a career in real estate, email Roy at cbhsr.com, or give him a call, 414-235-0763. They'd love to be your go-to for all your real estate needs.
Have you guys done an update on your home odyssey?
We've been trying to do it, but with different co-hosts, they really don't care, so.
Well, I care.
Yeah. Because you got a pack mule moving up the road for you that can move all your heavy shit.
There is that.
Yeah.
So, and do you want an update?
Update? We're just waiting on financial stuff. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, we're just waiting on some of the finalized everything. We should be closing beginning of next week.
Offer's been accepted, and you're just waiting on
Financial?
Yeah,
closing.
offers
Closing.
accepted, all
Closing
of the...
malarkey.
Definitely. All right. Well, who do we got here today? We got the stand-up guys. We found out it is the man in black man of Brendan O'Day.
Just because you guys can't hear a comma doesn't mean there isn't a comma present. There was a comma there. Jesus.
Yes. Wow. And the teddy bear of comedy.
The man
James.
Black man.
James Ervin Berry.
Oh, man.
Mark's back. This week we talk about some reemerging trends this fall, the top Halloween costumes. Tom versus Molly in the battle of should we get an Alexa. Smart homes are being hacked, but Samuel L. Jackson's voice is now available with an explicit option on Alexa. So we're going to have that weigh in. A woman bites a gas station's camel in the sack in Baton Rouge.
I saw that in my Twitter feed.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm scared to click on this.
Okay is not
Is
okay
there a
anymore.
camel in Baton Rouge? That's what I want.
At a gas station?
Right.
At the known desert that is Baton Rouge,
Right.
Louisiana. Average humidity 97%. That camel is sweating balls every day.
For
She was
real.
just licking the sweat off the balls. That's all she was doing.
For real.
Yeah, she didn't have teeth.
Yeah.
All right, okay, it's not okay anymore. Shane Gillis and Louis C.K. is being a victim in this Off the Rails episode. But first, what do we do first, Mark?
Hot seat.
It's the hot seat!
Rock Scream Thursday.
It's the hot seat! Hot seat!
They overstayed their welcome time. We got to cut them shorter.
Yep, we got new music.
Yeah,
I love it.
we got new.
I love it.
music. You
Yeah.
liking it? Mark, a lot's happened since you've been
I like
gone.
the off the rails scream at the end, but you got to.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's the end of the show.
All right.
We're out of time.
Home
guys.
of the 90-second bumper.
Something everybody loves, but you think is overrated. I
Something
think
everybody loves that you think is overrated.
For me, I always think a guy being there for a birth of a child is overrated. The guy doesn't need to be there. That happened because 4 weeks in a row, a New England Patriot player has missed a game because of the birth of a child.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, why do you need to be there? Doesn't the chick want her mom there more than you? You're not helping.
You can both be there.
Yeah.
You don't need to miss a game.
I was there with my mother-in-law at my daughter's birth.
Yeah.
Did you need to be there?
I wanted to be there.
Okay, but
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what it's become. It's this cultural imperative.
It's not this we're having a baby shit. It
Yeah.
was just I wanted to be there. It's first child. You know what? I don't even know what goes on. They don't show that part in the TV shows.
Well, I was just gonna say you were there more scientifically. I want to see this thing
going on?
through that thing. Yeah.
Oh, I did not
Do
peek
you really
behind the
want to
curtain.
see that?
He was there for physics purposes.
Hey, when are you get that chance? You're never gonna get that chance again. I mean, you could go get a medical degree. You
Right,
could,
right.
could spend the next 12 years.
somebody's
working
got to
your
be
life.
there to tip the doctor when he's stitching her up.
Yeah,
for
right.
some
Yeah,
extra.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I got to cut the cord.
Could you do a butterfly pattern in there?
How much for a couple extra stitches? Let's
Yeah.
throw that in there.
Hey,
A stitch
ooh,
for her
ooh.
and a stitch for dad.
Hey, wow.
That is sadly
you
a
go.
thing.
Yeah,
That's a terrible idea, universe. It causes health problems.
yeah.
because I joked about that. Susan's like, no,
Oh,
that's the
nice.
thing. You can't do
You were the comic relief in the old birthing room.
Right.
That's good. I'm here to tell the jokes, everybody. I'll be here for the next 36 hours. Yeah. That's great.
So your answer was what?
I said being there for a birth of a child. Something everybody loves but you think is overrated.
Okay. Am I next?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Marriage.
Marriage is overrated?
I think so.
Molly and I have been together a decade. We're fine.
Congratulations.
Not
You
married.
Not
Did
married.
you get married?
Yeah, we're not married.
Okay.
You will be common law married once you're living in a house together for so many
No,
years.
I don't think so. That's not a thing in Wisconsin.
Really?
You sure
I
about
really
that?
don't think it is.
No, it absolutely is.
Really?
I thought it
Yep.
was. Yeah.
Yep. And not necessarily common law marriage, but claim to property and things
And that's
like
why somebody's
Oh.
got to move out every 6 years.
Yep.
I don't care. I don't
Just
care.
get your name on a
You-
3-month
hey,
lease.
Get out of here
Oh,
for
you're
a
getting
month
up-
and a
yeah.
half and then move back in.
No, I bought a house, and I have this cranky old real estate attorney, and he was conference called in to the closing, to the title closing, and he just went apeshit on Chicago title of West Bend. Sorry to throw you guys under the bus. You did a terrible job on my real estate documents. And one of them was that this woman had lived with the owner of the home for 7 years and 3 months. And he's just, where the fuck is the quitclaim deed from the common law? Where the fuck? This is 78-year-old attorney just screaming at these people at this point because they spelled his name 3 different ways in the
Oh,
first
yeah.
4 pages, and he's just losing his shit. And it was great. And but yes, she literally had claim to half of the equity in that home.
Yeah, man.
Just for having lived there
So,
for
Molly,
7
you got to
years and
kick
3
Tom
months.
out every 6
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
telling you.
I'm sure between the 10 years we've been together, we've probably lived together for,
7. Yeah.
but not 7
But
consecutive.
it's consecutive.
Not,
straight.
Yes.
not 7 consecutive in
Yeah.
the same
Okay.
domicile.
Hey, Mark, if he's looking for a better person on purchasing a property, who do you think he should call next time?
Then you call Roy at
Nice.
CBHSR.com.
After the $140,000 divorce, Roy, I ain't buying a house anytime in the next millennia. So
Oh, you may think differently if you get Roy on the phone. He'll-
I will only do it for investment purposes.
I just
there we go,
rewatched.
rental property.
I just
Rental property is
rewatched The
what
Big
I'll do.
Short. I'm not buying anything associated with a bank.
That's
isn't
my
gonna
next
happen.
question. The show you last binge watched.
Oh no, The Big Short's a movie. But yeah, I don't know what's the. I mean, I'm kind of stuck in that.
Big
loop of-
Short, the Milwaukee Man in Black Man.
How many times are we
Brendan
gonna beat
O'Day
this dead
story.
horse? This is.
It's still good.
I've moved on. I don't know why the rest of you are still hung up on fucking grammatical inconsistencies.
Okay.
I don't know. What's the,
The last show I binge watched was called I think it was just called Island on
Okay.
Netflix.
I've seen the
Did you
ads
see that?
for it. I haven't
Oh
seen the
man,
show.
it was actually good. I was very surprised that it was because it's one of the short series, so it's not. It's like maybe 7 episodes or something like
Okay,
that.
yeah.
But that was really good. Yeah, I like that. I liked it more than I thought I was going to.
I've watched season 1 of the 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like 5 times in the last 2 weeks. Does that count?
Well,
Oh,
it's,
'cause
your
your
daughter
daughter-
likes it. Yeah.
She one of her favorite words is turtles. She
Nice.
points at the TV
Turtles.
and yells
Nice.
turtles. So
All right.
Nice.
And you don't binge watch stuff.
no,
so-
but she does.
Who's her favorite turtle?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
She has a Michelangelo because everyone has a Michelangelo stuffed animal. He's everyone's early favorite. Who's your favorite turtle?
Oh,
Gentlemen?
definitely a Donatello guy.
I was a Donatello guy growing
Yeah,
up too.
absolutely.
Donatello and the second was Leo.
Yeah.
I'm Leo.
I don't think I
all the way.
picked. I never did pick
Oh.
No.
because I'm a crew type person. I like I like the fact that it's a crew that's fighting together as opposed to an individual.
Okay.
I like the
Well,
team.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So do you
yeah.
is Raphael your least favorite because he's the lone wolf, always going off on his own? He's the Wolverine or Batman of the group.
I wouldn't say least favorite at all. Nah.
No, you need that dynamic to really pull the gang
Yeah,
back
the
together
leader,
later.
honestly.
And
Yeah.
the rebel and the party guy
Yeah.
and the nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one is the nerd?
Donatello was
Donatello.
always the technology
Was
one.
the tech
Okay,
guy,
that might be my favorite.
Yeah.
Man. If
He carried a
I'm-
stick. He couldn't even kill you. He just.
Yeah, but
Oh,
that was
come
the
on.
one weapon you
But he
could
knew
find
the
in your
amount of
garage
ways, right.
was a stick.
Test that theory. You
one
got a
of the
stick here?
Who's one of the most badass characters in The Walking
Does your
Dead?
dad
well, now
keep
Fear the Walking
size
Dead.
hanging up in the
He's
in
got
the
a
garage?
quarterstaff.
Oh, it's a goddamn stick. It's not a quarter stick.
Oh.
Mouse.
It's a broomstick.
It's a broomstick.
So he left The Walking Dead and went to.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Is that
He's
right?
in the crossover one. Yeah.
I was wondering. I'm
Yep.
like, I never see this guy.
I have
Yeah.
never seen a turtle
they never
in
killed
either of
them
those
all.
shows.
He walked until he walked and hitchhiked until he got into the
That's
the Fear
hilarious.
the Walking Dead.
All right, sorry.
That's all right.
He
Psychology.
hitchhiked to a new movie set.
In all fairness, I did just watch the more recent seasons of The Walking Dead too.
Yeah.
Couldn't he have just hitched a ride with the production crew? I mean, did he have to hitch?
Well, I'm sure he
He
did.
headed that way.
This is an alternate reality, man. We
Yeah.
talked about that earlier.
All right. I'm fascinated by the psychology behind this, but is sneaking into a second movie wrong or harmless?
Harmless.
Harmless?
Harmless.
Well, I think it might be both.
Because everybody feels like they're being robbed themselves at a movie theater, that
'Cause
they
it's so
justify
expensive.
bringing in food, sneaking into another
Yeah, but you're
movie.
sticking it to the theater, who is a middleman, who is getting bent over a table by Hollywood.
You're
So-
supposed to be the theater.
I am the middleman. We don't make there's very little profits in running a movie theater because Hollywood takes everything. That's why the popcorn is so expensive. That's why we
Right.
keep the lights on.
But so why do you care if somebody goes into another theater and stays and gets
'Cause
more
I still get-
popcorn
I
or
still
another
get 10% of that
$8
ticket
box
sale.
of fucking Raisinets? I mean, why would you not want me to stay there and buy more of that
Because
stuff?
in the process of screwing Hollywood, you're also hurting the middleman, who's Hollywood also is screwing.
I've actually never done that.
I've done it. I felt like I was doing. I felt like I did feel like I was stealing. It did not make me enjoy the movie less.
Right. But so you're connected, right?
I work in a movie theater.
So the thing's gonna turn on at 9:45, right?
At my theater, we have 8 minutes of pre-show.
That's not the point, Mark.
9:53, the fucking thing's gonna turn on, right? And it's gonna run.
I agree. That's ridiculous.
Whether there's 2 pairs of eyes on the screen or 200 pairs of eyes looking at the
That is
screen,
true.
it's gonna turn on.
Because people show up late
Yep.
a lot, too. So it's got to be running.
It's
in case
gonna
that guy
turn
shows up
on.
late.
My point is, who the hell cares if I paid to go see Smokey and the Band at 6 and came down the hall
'Cause you didn't
to
see
watch
to pay
Red Dead
Smokey and the Band at
Redemption's
7.
full on.
You
fucking
are all
theater.
worked up.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I don't understand why. I'm still trying to find out how the theater is harmed by that, because I then stay another 2 hours.
I do get a small cut of your ticket sale.
And how much?
About 10% probably.
10%.
It could be higher at other theaters.
80 cents. You guys need a theater.
You got a nickel and dime it in this
You
world.
need a theater reclamation box in your lobby, and let people just drop 80 cents in there, and then they can go down the hall and go to another movie. That's 100%. You
Also,
keep all of that.
we-
Hollywood doesn't know about my box in your lobby.
We get audited internally. When I worked for the big local chain, we got audited regularly where a guy would go check the computer. Computer says there's 103 people in
Yeah.
auditorium 7. He goes, no, with a little clicker. He counts all the
Wow.
people. And if there's one extra person in there, it goes on your record, and that's going to be brought up at your next raise that on your shift, people are sneaking into movies.
Wow,
So you're also
Wow.
sticking it to the poor college kid who's just trying to work.
man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because
So basically, I owe you probably about $25.
Hollywood is so
Somewhere in there.
overbearing
About
that
I think.
the theaters have to self-regulate intensely to appease them.
Wow.
Again, the theater is over a barrel here.
I would
I
never
feel
have known
bad.
that. I know, right?
I've been shoplifting movies my whole life.
From the poor college kids.
Dude.
Speaking of movies, how about a role in a movie that you feel you could have done better?
Oh, I don't know about none better.
I could have been the Russian in Rounders better than John Malkovich was.
Really?
That is notoriously bad.
You
Russian
can't do a
accents.
Russian accent.
Pay that man his money. That was John Malkovich. So
Are
bad.
you okay? You having a stroke?
Yeah. Like, why did they have John Malkovich keep doing that? You could have replaced him
Sure.
easily in like 5 scenes.
Wow. It's that weird thing, man.
Man, I'm
You-
trying to think of.
You do this, you like, I don't begrudge Larry the Cable Guy his $25 million a year, because I know what he went through to become Larry the Cable Guy.
Okay.
You know, so what got John Malkovich to that day, the suffering that he went through to get there, I would never believe I could do a role better than anybody, because, I mean, I just don't, who knows? Like, there's actors who are amazing with certain directors or in the hands of a good director. And then there are
It's all the
actors,
director.
there are actors who need a good director
Yeah.
to get something out of them.
The actor has to have the balls to say, "No, that sucked. Do it again. Do it right."
And you'd believe Malkovich could have done that, but you also don't know if it was like, hey, I'd like a voice, I'd like a Russian like a Russian voice coach. And they're like, no, we don't have it in the budget. It's like, well, then I'm just going to do the lousy Russian that I do.
Yeah.
You could have paid $25,000 for someone to come spend 3 days with me, but you chose not to do it. Fine. I'm just going to talk like this the whole time, and no one's going to. Are you Russian or are you Mexican? I can't quite tell. And that might be the thing. And so you don't know
funny.
what makes, and that's
senor.
there you go. But I how do you second guess that? I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I
I'm
can't
so
think
sorry.
of a character I'll
Just
be
being
able to.
a-
He
feel
defends actors, not movie theaters.
Debbie Downers. So,
Well, that's the director. A good director makes or breaks a movie. That's why I think Ghostbusters 2016 sucked. It wasn't the actresses. It was the director who wasn't keeping everyone on the page. You watch the documentaries. He let them do whatever the fuck they wanted. He's Mr. Nice Guy. He didn't say, no, do it again. Read the script.
yeah.
He was too loose. He let the kids run wild, and that's why the movie's
Right, but okay, but okay, I'm not disqualifying what you just said,
Uh-huh.
but I also have to add one of the issues, at least with Hollywood with that type of stuff, and this is gonna sound wrong, but it feels right to say, when you take a classic or a popular movie and you decide we're gonna flip the script and make it all women,
It's gimmicky.
when they did the last Ocean's 11, I was like, I'm not going to see that because now you're forcing it to be the opposite of what the guys did.
Right.
And now it's like, well, at least the other Ocean's 11, it was about the actual storyline.
Mhm.
Like, you guys have not said really too much about the storyline and just got all these chicks on the screen as who's
Right.
going to be. And I'm like,
Make it its own good movie.
I hate
Yeah.
all the remaking they do in general, but the reality is people aren't going to see original movies. So
And that's the
everything,
other
everything
problem.
has to have a famous name.
Right.
Well, like Ghostbusters too. It's like all the people that love Ghostbusters, such a classic movie, loved it for what it was,
Right.
and then remaking it just
Right. No, don't do that. Like, I got
It's
upset
like
when
a
I
slap
saw
in the
the
face.
trailers for Jumanji. Jumanji is one of my favorite movies, the original. So as soon as I saw,
didn't mind the
as
last
soon
one.
as I was like, "Oh, I'm not
was
going to
why?
see this."
But why do you have to do it? Make a movie. You're
Right,
creative
right,
people.
right.
Come up with an idea.
People are sneaking into theaters
that's
instead of
chick-
buying tickets.
No. That's chicken and egg. That's chicken and egg.
The ad
Chicken and egg,
revenues
Mark.
aren't there.
The-
that's
the-
why
the
that's why
studios-
they're making these
The
movies.
studios have to put out movies.
That's-
The audience doesn't go, you know what I would like? You know, I've been
sneaking
sitting
in.
here for the last 17
Dude, that's
years. You know what
funny.
I'd like? I'd like for you, Hollywood, to remake me a classic with some real popular actors, not real high quality actors, just somebody who's got box office draw.
They should just re-release the classics. They
Yes.
re-released Ghostbusters. a
Why
couple
not
I
years
would
do
be-
that
I
on
would be
Tuesday
okay
nights
with
instead
that.
of $5
Yeah.
retardo
Yeah.
movies?
'Cause
Come
when-
on, man.
What was the
Go see Caddyshack on the big screen.
Hell yeah.
How do you redo Dirty Dancing? Come on. There's another
That one
movie
got
that
Molly hard.
there's another one that they're redoing
With
that
Shakira and JT, of course. That's how you redo Dirty Dancing. Come on. I mean, they're
It's
both
not gonna be
big
the
box
same.
office draws. Don't you want to make more money?
no.
Fuck
What was the Schwarzenegger movie that they redid?
Well, they redid Conan.
No, it was one of the
Really?
at the time
Yeah,
it
no
was
one
like the
saw it.
more high
It's
tech.
like 8 pages of dialogue for the whole movie. It's like,
Terminator.
that's
Not
quick and
Terminator.
easy.
What was the name of that movie?
Running Man.
No, Colin Farrell played in it.
Total Recall.
Total Recall. I was just like, dude, why?
Well,
when I
it's like the RoboCop remake.
see this, I'm like, dude, come on, man. If
do
you
you
notice,
top
they're
Peter
doing
Weller?
everything from the '80s, basically.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And I'm like, that shows you how great of a decade that was, man. If they just keep biting
Original
it.
ideas, and just they were allowed to do whatever they
Yeah.
want. Like
Yeah.
you watch RoboCop now, and it's going to give a millennial
Yeah.
Right.
nightmares for
Plus
the rest of
redoing
their
Yeah.
life.
them
Yeah.
in this time, it's not going to play the same.
It's not going to
It's
play
not
the
going to have
same.
the satire.
The
Yeah.
millennials
Yeah.
and the youngers bag on the baby boomers for everything being about money, but they keep copying everything we did.
Exactly.
Everybody's got to have a 70s or an 80s
Right.
or a 90s. You're a 90s kid if you fuck off.
We're triggering
Have
Brendan a lot
a
today.
2017 party, you morons. Just have a party. Hey,
Right.
you know what we did? We just had parties. And you want to copy what we did because we know how to party.
But if you think
babies.
about it, everything after the 2000s doesn't have a unique feel to it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like the 60s, 70s, 80s,
Everything is a sequel,
90s.
prequel, or it's based
Once
on
you
a book.
get to 2000, it's like you guys don't really. There's not really a.
Well, we hit every idea imaginable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were creative and wanted to have fun. They don't want to have fun. They want to have the oppression that they're having fun. And
Right.
our parents had fun. Look at those 9 pictures they have of all that fun they were having.
Right.
That's what they want to have. And they don't realize that the fun is lost in having 1,000 pictures of the event.
Well, now
Because
it's-
now
Right.
you see every
It's
single...
posing and staging to look
Yes.
like I'm having
Yeah.
fun.
Right.
To
That's
make all
right.
my friends
yes.
depressed that they're not having
Yeah.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right on.
You know, I was going through some old pictures thinking of sharing them on Facebook of
Yeah.
me as like a baby, and everyone is like, I'm being held with a beer can and a spoon. Every
With a
picture
nipple
I
on.
Quality
have.
parenting right there.
Like, here's my aunt just smoking
Dude,
like
that's-
dripping ashes on my head,
Well, that's awesome.
holding me with a can of Miller Lite.
Perfect.
Oh,
Hold it. How
man.
come you're not dead?
That's funny.
How come you don't have stage 4 lymphoma?
That's
There's
funny.
a lot of smoking and
and
drinking
and you know,
going
and
around.
what's funny about that is the sad part is
They were
nowadays,
in Chuck E. Cheese.
dude, like this. Right, it's like, dude, this was the norm. This wasn't even anything malicious at all.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
You thought I was talking about an outdoor picnic.
This
That
is
was
it.
in
Yeah,
Chuck
man.
E. Cheese.
No, that's
She was
hey.
probably standing in a disgusting ball pit.
You need to post those now because I want to see.
Dude, that is
Yeah,
funny.
Yes.
Speaking of that, strangest punishments your parents ever gave you.
This is gonna sound like abuse.
Okay.
What I'm about to say when I was a kid.
All right.
All right, so I don't even remember what I did. So basically, for punishment, my mom put some popcorn seeds on the it was in the kitchen. So you know how like most parents like you got to stand in the corner. Okay, that's
Yeah,
like the norm.
I hated that.
Yeah.
My mom went to level 10 with it. She put some popcorn seeds on the ground,
You just stand on them.
kneel on the popcorn seeds while holding a brick.
Not just because kneeling on the popcorn
Dude.
seeds by itself
You
wasn't
know
bad
why?
enough.
You know why you
Wow.
don't remember what you did? Because you never did it again.
right.
In that moment,
Right.
do you think that was justified?
I was so young. I had to be
Okay.
like probably 5.
Were you like,
or
I had
something
this
like
coming?
that. Yeah.
Or were you like,
It-
this is awful?
No, it wouldn't have surprised. I probably deserved it.
Okay.
Let me phrase it. I deserve some type of punishment. I don't know if the Taliban level of torture.
But
But-
think of the creativity of that generation. coming
that's
up
why
with
I
a
can't.
punishment
That's
like
why
that.
I can't hate it
You learned your
Yes.
lesson, and it didn't do
Extraordinarily
any
creative.
permanent damage to
at
you.
all.
You just
At
lucky you
all.
weren't a Lego household.
Yeah, I know, right, dude? Oh man,
You'd need knee surgery.
Yeah,
by
dude.
now.
I'm gonna have to ask her what I did if she remembers what I did to get that was
Nice.
that was the most.
That's
that was
actually
the,
kind of brilliant.
yeah,
I
right,
don't know.
right,
Oh, my God.
yeah, yeah. I
You
didn't
do
have
that
to,
today.
never
I
want
did.
this
I
one
didn't
again.
have to do that twice.
How many dead nerve endings are
I
in
know,
your
right?
knees from
Right,
just beep, beep, beep,
man. It took forever to pick that popcorn out.
That sucks. I just hated standing in the corner. It was the worst torture ever. You just standing there looking at the corner doing nothing.
Yeah.
We kept falling asleep. I am almost an expert at falling asleep standing up, man.
Oh my gosh.
I'm good,
That might get you a whole new level of punishment.
dude.
You weren't supposed to sleep
I
over
know.
there. You
I
just-
know.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, my angles are on point.
Wow. Yeah.
My angles are on point.
Wow.
What was yours?
This might tie into Hollywood. My
There I
parents.
was with Harvey Weinstein.
My parents never.
Right?
Yeah, I was a good-looking kid. My parents were we were poor, but it was weird poor. Like, just we owned this big business, but it was a terrible time in the economy.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, my parents didn't take an income for 3 years straight.
Dang.
It was terrible. Like, I got my first new pair of blue jeans at 13, first new pair of first shoes that were mine at 14. Always hand-me-downs from a big family and everything. But my parents had to go to a convention kind of a thing. And whatever. I wound up being a contractor, but I always would like take the tape measure out of the junk drawer and I'd just measure shit with the tape
Sure.
measure. And I took apart the tape measure and
Oh man.
it uncoils and I spent the entire 4 days they were gone just rewinding that thing back in there, and then I just put it in the drawer.
Wow.
And then my mom went to use the tape measure, and it just
Boom.
well, it just wouldn't.
Oh
come
no,
out.
it won't come out.
And
Whoop, like a
I
can
thought
of peanut
for-
butter.
yeah, for
and
sure.
of course, like there's 9 kids, but there's no question of which kid was the kid that was fucking around with the tape measure. I got banned from going because I had paper routes and things, and you had a little bit of a choice of what you could spend the money on. And I would go to movies. I loved going to movies. And she knew I loved going to movies, and I was not allowed to go to a movie for a year.
Dang.
Right? At like 12 years old, 11, 12.
Wow.
That's rough.
All a year is forever.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and it's just like, oh man, that was like, I bought the calendar for the next year because this was in October.
Wow.
I bought like the
Why didn't you buy her a new
1978.
tape measure?
Well,
Is there a movie you
I offered and it was not allowed.
That's a good point.
It was like, yeah, go ahead, but you're still banned. Didn't matter.
It
Do
didn't
you
matter.
remember
Wow.
any of the movies that you wanted to see and couldn't?
I missed the first run of Smokey and the Bandit.
Ooh.
Probably one of my favorite guilty pleasure type movies today. I guess I had just seen Star Wars, had just been out.
Oh, thank God.
So I missed not seeing.
That would have
yeah.
been.
Yeah. But I literally bought the calendar for the next year to mark on when I could go back to the movies. Because it was in October. We didn't yet have the 1978 calendar. So I bought the 1978 calendar so I could mark on there when I would. I think
For
I
a
actually,
whole year.
Yeah.
I would rather kneel on popcorn seeds and hold
For
a
10
brick
minutes, right?
than
Very-
have to not go,
Very unreasonable.
hit me, please.
Yeah.
than to not have to go to a movie for a year
Brendan
and I can
wins.
afford it. Yeah. Yeah, you won.
Yeah. I think there was
Why?
probably
So
something.
do you feel that was
something deeper.
just punishment?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't even feel
I-
like that was just.
I even
punishment,
brought
man.
that up at the time. Like, you can't, that just, whatever. I was a kid that thought about stuff like
A
that. And I
year
was
is
just
an
like,
eternity for a child.
That was
yeah, I
egregious.
said, that's a cruel and unusual punishment. That just doesn't fit the crime.
Yeah.
You know, and I
It's a
think
tape
I
measure.
think the tape measure was even like the free one you get, you know, for
From the
going to
bank?
the business
Yeah.
expo. Yeah, it's whatever somebody's handing out. I'm like, I think I just ruined a 92-cent tape
Wow.
measure.
It's the principle of the
It
thing.
was hers. It was hers, and I screwed up.
I was giving my dad I was playing Nintendo a lot, and we had to go somewhere, and I kept giving him the one more minute.
Oh,
more
man.
minute.
I
Yeah.
remember
Because you
the
can't
story.
save in old Nintendo games, right?
Yeah.
He pulled it out of the wall in TV and Donkey Konged it down the basement stairs on the concrete.
There you go.
Does it
And
still work?
Probably.
I was shaking so bad and like just
Dad, I
in
was about to fight the
shock.
shredder.
Like, no, that it would never work again. To where when we were going and he's driving, he's like checking on me in the mirror, and I'm still like white and shaking because my Nintendo was
Because you haven't even gotten to check if it
I
still works.
didn't even get to check it. I don't know. It's just
Oh,
laying
my
at the bottom
baby.
of a concrete basement. He's like finally like giving in, like, I'll buy you a new one if it don't work. Just make sure your heart's working.
Dude, right,
Just
right.
be okay. Don't have a panic attack.
Dude, these are some old school stories.
I had it coming.
You know
man.
what I'm
can't
saying?
pull
Like,
it one per minute.
wow.
I was
Get in the
amazed
car.
at how recent that is because I had no concept of things like NESs or anything.
That was like
That was our
87,
childhood.
88.
Yeah.
Well,
you know?
we had a Magnavox Pong game. The things that went out.
Yes, we had that too.
Did it still work?
Yes.
It
After
did.
he threw it
After
down
the
the
toss.
Dude,
There
they
was
made
no top
stuff
to
to
it anymore. That came off, but I could put the game in and press it down, and it still worked.
the way they made
Wow.
stuff back then.
Oh man.
Man, it
It
wouldn't. You couldn't throw an Xbox One down and
No
have
way.
it still work.
No way.
Oh.
But
I remember
No
seeing
way.
the TV and the stand and everything come down with it. He just
Oh,
ripped it out
jeez.
and
I would have been
Donkey Konged
horrified.
it down the
I
stairs.
still just
Oh,
mad respect
Foss
for that.
doesn't fuck around.
No,
man,
there was
dude.
no more one more minute ever.
Yeah.
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 when you couldn't save, you were done. I mean,
And
you
then
had
going,
to start over.
He didn't understand. I could a 5-year-old can't tell a grown adult that we can't save.
I'm
the
Right,
almost
right,
dead.
right,
I have
right.
to play 45
I
minutes
need
to
to-
get to this.
But your
spot.
your
Right.
5-year-old self actually was. You believed that mattered to him. I don't give
Right,
a
exactly,
crap about
right.
your saving.
Yeah.
You're gonna just sit here for another 5 hours tomorrow.
It
What do I
especially
care?
didn't matter to Foz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
What do I
That's
care?
funny.
What do I care?
Yeah, he wouldn't have cared anyway.
No. What?
yeah.
Yeah. It's
That's a
irrelevant.
good point.
Didn't
Sorry,
care.
it was huge to you. You've carried this for what, 30 years, and it just didn't matter to him whatsoever.
Your mom's watching now, so she can
Psycholo-
see how scarred you are.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, sorry, mom.
It was like I came back from Nam and saw some shit, man. It's all my-
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the psychological
The shaking in your hand was real. That
Man,
wasn't
dude.
going
Going
on. That's great.
wherever we went, and just knowing that it's at home.
Apologies to anybody who actually was
And
in
like,
Nam.
I don't even know if it's gonna.
Are we still on the hot seat questions?
We are still. Let's get to some
But,
announcements.
but hold on, though.
Okay.
What made me laugh at this story was the fact that you were not shaking because you felt there was a physical threat coming
Yeah.
from your dad.
You weren't punished.
No.
You were shaking about the condition of the video game.
Yeah.
Yes, I
like we would have been. I would have been scared because my mom was angry. Like I'm worried about the repercussions
He
of
had no fear
punishment.
of his parents.
This dude is like, oh my god, how is my Nintendo doing?
I was about to fight Zangief.
See how easy Gen Xers had?
Think
They
it
had no
was-
feir of their parents. That's what they
Oh man,
Mario Brothers 3, I believe.
Oh,
you
about
like
the
3.
whistles.
It was just rough.
Is that the one where he can fly with the tail?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
You'd have told my dad one more minute
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you're right.
That was
You're
probably
absolutely
the
right.
one time that you would have beat the whole game.
Yeah,
Dude, you can get the whistle in the what is it, the second world to get you
I had
to
trouble
level 8.
with
this
level
close
8
to
was
making
hard.
history.
All right. October 12th, Off the Rails Comedy Nights at the Arts Mill. We got 2 of our comedians here. Thanks for coming in,
That's
guys.
right.
$20 general admission, $40 VIP table seating with a free drink of your choice. Pizza by John's Pizza.
I can't even tell you how
I'm
much
coming for
bargain
the
this
pizza.
thing
Well,
is. This is amazing.
The beer is going to be by Fermentorium. It's gonna
Fermentorium and
have their beer there.
Fermentorium and Sahala.
Sahala.
So 2 craft beers. You get free pizza party beforehand. You get upfront table seating. You get world-class comedy coming to Grafton, Wisconsin. What the hell more do you want?
And you're supporting a nonprofit,
And half of our money's going back to...
the North
Back
Shore
to the
Academy of
NSA.
the Arts.
So all my Belgium, Lake Church, Port Washington, Saukville, Cedarburg, Grafton people. I'll even go as far as Random Lake. Get down here. Get on down here. Isn't geography
Did
comedy
you say
the best?
Thiensville? Isn't Thiensville in there?
Thiensville's a little south,
Yeah.
but get on up here, Thiensville. Drive north. Go way up north to Grafton, Thiensville. What is it? 8 miles?
Yeah,
maybe
8
6
miles.
minutes. Come on up.
You know what we're going to do?
Come see this show and support the arts because, I mean, don't come for us. Don't come for the comedy.
come
Don't
For the
come
children.
You know
Right,
how
right. Do it for the kids.
All right, check out this deal. Here's another thing we're doing. If you go to our Patreon page and you donate $1, we are going to give half off your ticket. All of our profits
Gone.
were gone, but the charity part of the profits is still going all to them. So we're giving up all of our money for you to go. It'll cost you $1.
Patreon.
Patreon.
Is it off the rails TM or just off the rails?
TM.
Off the rails TM.
Patreon.com.
Go
/
support these guys. They work hard. They
is that
buy
li-
expensive equipment.
Is that link on the Facebook photo? I don't remember.
The Patreon link isn't, but
It's on our website.
It's on our website.
Okay,
You can
all right.
Off
do
the Rails
that.
TM.
Because I'll definitely put that on the I said, did I say Facebook? I meant Instagram.
Instagram, yeah,
Ins-
just
Instagram
hit,
is
hit
the
our
one that I'm
Patreon.
on.
You're so
Patreon
modern.
link will give
Yeah.
you all of what we're
You're
going to
very
be making.
modern.
Am I?
Yeah, you're very hip.
I'll stick to
You're
Instagram.
That's on the MySpace,
I don't
right,
like- I don't
Tom?
like Facebook.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So seriously, yeah. But help us out. I did just spend $44 yesterday on licensing for fonts. Things
Yeah.
you never know you
Yeah,
need
isn't
to
it? Well, no,
buy.
hey, somebody designed that font. Give them
Wait
their
a
money.
minute.
What's
For
wrong with the
what?
free fonts?
We have our own fonts.
We're
Okay.
designing a new website.
We're designing a new website. We got to make it
Have
all
you
cool.
been on thefont.com?
It's the font, yo.
D
Detroit had Wayne fonts.
DAFONT.com.
Okay.
There are a ton of free fonts you can get on there, and it's the only place that I go whenever I need any fonts.
Well, I don't know if I can get my money back on the license.
I already paid a guy.
I already paid
Going
him.
forward,
Did you go to the guy in the back
Some-
alley selling fonts again?
Some
See,
Chinese
see,
guy
that's what it
worked very
was.
Same
hard.
guy
He
did
didn't
our
put
hot
his
seat.
jackets. it's
Yeah,
just
I
lighter
got
up.
these fonts for you, player.
Kneel down on some popcorn seats. Take these fonts.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
All right.
Get out on some
9 inches
popcorn
of fonts.
seeds. I got these fonts.
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness.
Molly, you want to talk a little bit about the Off the Rails network that's starting? The reason why we're doing that? Or are you...
No.
Not
I
yet?
mean, not yet.
Okay, happy birthday, Molly. It's Molly's birthday.
Well,
Aw.
happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday to you. Happy birthday.
I'm getting to the point where I'm just lost track of how old I am. So.
I
We're at
have-
35 rounded up to 50.
You
Thanks.
never
Wow.
tell or ask a lady's age.
When people
I thought it
ask me
was
my
weight.
age, I ask
How
what
much
year
do
is
you
it?
weigh?
Yeah, what?
Like, what year is this? So I give you an
I've
accurate
actually
number.
got to start like doing math.
That's
I'm
what I
like,
did.
I
That's what I did yesterday. I'm like,
I forget.
Oh,
yeah,
Wow.
I intentionally forget how old I am.
yeah.
All right, we got re-emerging trends coming back in the news today.
All right, what you got?
No, we don't. Okay.
Was that guy?
Chunky
Fieri?
white tennies? He's had that at the top.
10 fashion trends that are coming back, but it is not.
Sir, going back to the top.
I have no idea what.
Why are you at the bottom of the page?
I literally go to a rail in my closet and I take a black T-shirt.
Yep.
There we go.
off
I'm trying to
the
get to
rail.
your level, brother.
I then take a black dress shirt. I
Yep.
take a black
You got a
pair
Doug
of socks.
closet.
Yep.
And I take a black pair of. That's my. I make
That's-
no decisions.
that's where I'm
I
gravitating
don't
towards.
understand fashion
You know,
at all.
what do you think about these mom jeans though that are back?
Well, high-waisted is
above
in.
the high waisted.
Sure.
See,
Whatever.
they're called mom jeans, but I think the average guy wouldn't be able to tell the. I don't think the average guy really pays that much attention.
Just doesn't.
They're
care.
called
Right?
mom jeans. 'cause
Not to
they-
the moms.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
like,
no.
like if she's walking around in that, like, I wouldn't notice it unless,
She's also
unless
wearing
they
a big
were.
overcoat. So
That hides the C-section
Somebody
scar.
challenged
Yeah.
whether I wear all black everything.
Every day.
And I stripped down to my underwear at
And
a
it's
show at the
white.
Miramar Theater just to prove. You might think I'm just wearing a black coat with a black shirt.
That's
No,
funny.
let's take this. And I
Tom's
literally,
mom-
it's the only time I've ever disrobed on stage.
Tom's mom wants to know if you're Johnny Cash.
I literally just was listening to Jackson on the way here. I had the Elvis. The last two songs on Amazon was the Little More Action from Elvis, which is from Ocean's 11. Was used in Ocean's 11,
Yep.
and then Jackson by Johnny and June Carter.
All right. Fanny packs are popular again.
That's
I
not a
brought
fanny
them
pack.
back.
that's not how you wear a fanny pack. He's wearing it like a sash.
Yeah. He's
Fanny
wearing
packs.
it.
That's a
If-
stash
if-
when you
pack.
feel
He's
like,
wearing
If that's the new fanny pack, I am for
That's
it.
an
That's a
over-the-shoulder
breasty pack.
bag.
That's a
Yeah.
booby pack. That's
Fanny
not a
pack has
fanny
got to
pack.
go. It's got to hang over.
I'm
your
okay
belt.
with that.
Have you seen Tom's fanny pack?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
haven't.
It's
It's
all the time.
It's all black leather. It's classy.
It's all the time.
See?
He's wearing it like Chewbacca.
Hey, those scooter things though are driving this trend because you can't carry anything on those stupid
You have a backpack.
rental
Right.
scooters. Well, yeah, but it's just
Cargo
You
pants.
don't need.
When
a
I was
whole
a kid,
backpack
we
worth
all
of-
wore
Do you
cargo
carry a
pants.
purse? You don't carry a purse.
No, I don't carry a purse.
Yeah, so just fanny pack is where you're gonna.
Why?
Carry
Why
your
would
pack.
I need a purse? I got
Well,
keys
that's
in
what
my
I'm saying.
pocket,
But why do you
my
need a
phone in my
backpack
pocket,
then
got
on
no
the
wallet in
scooter?
my pocket.
You just need a fanny pack.
'Cause
I
if I
think
need-
that's going to be the thing that brings fanny packs back.
If I'm
on
carrying
it for
something,
3 years
what
now.
am I carrying?
I have no
A
idea.
tablet?
I don't know.
Maybe?
You got a kid? Maybe you got a.
I have a
Diaper
backpack of her
bag?
supplies that I'll wear. I have a pink backpack that I put on, and with like her diapers.
Power
and
to the
her-
vagina. Good job.
her-
man.
I don't care.
No, I'm saying.
I got a little
Good for
girl.
you.
It makes sense.
Good for you. Why? That's gender stereotyping your
That's
daughter,
funny.
sir.
I let her pick out the bag.
What is she? 18 months?
She is 2.5, coming up on 2.5.
2.5. That's nice.
Some of these trends never left.
Scrunchies
by the
never
way.
left.
They never. No.
Yeah,
Really?
They're still been
convenient.
around.
I felt like scrunchies left.
Nah.
What about barrettes? They left.
They did not leave. No,
They did not leave.
they did not.
Those glasses got to leave.
What?
She needs
And
a
the funny
nose
part is, I
job.
thought that was about the glasses, not the
Look-
Yeah,
barrettes.
what are those
Are those real glasses?
Yeah.
Do you wear fake
Me?
glasses?
Me?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, these are real.
Okay.
They
How do you
look
feel
like
about
super
people who wear
Don't they?
the
yeah.
trendy fake glasses with
I think
flat
that's-
lenses?
whatever. I think that's pretty stupid. I mean, I think anything like that's pretty stupid. You know?
I agree. As someone who needs to wear glasses,
well,
Tie-dye
that'd be like
never
saying,
left.
"Hey, man, crutches
They
are
never
all the
left.
rage.
yeah,
Everyone's on crutches."
right? Yeah. I mean,
You know what some of this is? Some of this seems to be
Striped sweaters.
they'll say it's back, but what really happened is there was a fewer people were still doing it,
Uh-huh.
and now the right people
Now Kim Kardashian's doing it.
exactly. So now it's supposed to
cool
be back.
again.
we're
Right?
just talking
exactly.
about backstock and getting rid of inventory. Isn't that really all it's about? It's like, holy
That's
crap!
all
I
it
was
is.
just out in the warehouse.
We got
we got to bring
Yeah.
scrunchies back.
Yeah.
You know what needs to
Yeah.
come back is those snap bracelets.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming back.
I
as a
have
next
no
iPhone.
problem with that
Yeah.
outfit.
Okay, this is some Halloween
new
costumes
iWatch.
here.
Won't you be my
Apple.
neighbor?
You know what I mean? Please, please, won't you be?
Sexy Mr. Rogers costume.
That's
I
Mr.
have
Rogers.
no problem with that
she's
outfit.
got the red cardigan thing.
I have
That's
no
not
problem with that
Mr.
outfit.
Rogers. That's like sexy schoolgirl.
I think
Come
Mr.
on.
Rogers had
There
an
is.
undershirt on. I don't recall
Sexy,
him.
nicest neighbor costume.
Okay.
I can appreciate that. Please, won't you be my neighbor?
Another popular one you're going to see a lot this year is a can of White Claw.
Oh, really?
There you go.
Sure.
Wow.
That's like an expensive costume, though. I don't believe in store-bought costumes.
No, that's
right.
just a big shirt. That there, it's like one of those
Oh,
sleeping
wait,
shirts.
what?
Oh, it's like a
That's
moo-moo.
funny.
So Molly, you ready to have it out about if we're getting an Alexa or not?
I'm jealous.
Why are we arguing?
Can I just say I'm jealous
wants
of these millennials because their costume options are so like we really didn't have. It was basically you were a superhero, or somebody just threw a sheet over you so you could be a ghost.
I was looking at old Halloween photos. My sister was a witch. She was wearing a garbage bag.
Right.
I was an Ewok. It was cut off of the back of a cereal box.
When I was a kid, it was no store-bought costumes. My mom made our costumes by hand.
Yeah.
She made a Black Widow for my sister
See?
that had all of the extra legs sewn in, and it was stuffed in the back.
I remember those masks that would have the rubber band around it, and they would always pop off.
Yeah.
Before you could even get 2 houses down.
That's why nobody had store-bought costumes because they
sucked. These jokers are...
when there was an economic structure in this country that mom could stay home and sew a Black Widow costume.
I think I was a ladybug.
Can
that
anybody
year.
argue that wasn't better? That was amazing.
I'm a stay-at-home dad. I can't sew shit.
No.
You're...
No.
Right.
No.
The
last thing I went for Halloween,
Alexa was
where
where
I
you left
actually
off.
dressed up was I was the $6 Million Man.
That was my dude.
Oh yeah, Steve
I had
Austin,
the bank.
baby.
You put on a
They had a
tracksuit.
bank,
So
and I had the bank. as a kid.
No, I put on my denim jacket because that's all it was,
Dude.
and I put on my blue jeans. Well, I put on my second oldest brother's blue jeans because that's where I got most of my hand-me-downs. And I was getting my hair cut that week, and I was like, "You gotta cut my hair like Steve Austin."
Yeah, man.
And the hairstylist, she was just like, you have the straightest, finest hair. There's no way I can make you
That's
look
funny.
like Steve Austin. And so with my very straight bowl cut hair, I walked around the gym. I walked around the gymnasium on Halloween day, on costume day, in a denim jacket and said I was Steve Austin. So
As a kid, that
that's
was
all
one
I
of my
wanted.
favorite toys, man.
Oh, man.
They had this. It was a $6 Million Man bank, and it was Steve Austin. But the way they made the bank, it was bricks around him, so it looked like he's busting
yeah,
through.
of
Oh,
But
great.
okay. So
Awesome.
I had the capsule that opened up into an operating theater that had little tubes that you put in
I
because
thought you said y'all was poor, dude.
what?
This is turning into a very nostalgic
Dude.
episode.
Wow.
It's like,
Had no idea that was going to come out like that. But here's where
I
the
was
best
in
part
my
is.
mansion
Hey,
playing with my
hey,
life size.
okay, so this is your this is your commitment.
like an
This is your commitment
this
level.
Is an awesome toy.
This is your commitment level. Is I had an Oscar Goldman doll.
I thought I was gonna say
to
I
go
had
with
all the
Steve-
Tron robot or
with
all the
Steve Martin.
Voltron robots.
No. I literally had the guy that could tell Steve Austin what to go do.
See,
Oscar Goldman
Nah, I
was the guy from the
I
government.
just had the bank.
Gave him, Steve, we need you to go.
Probably got it for free when you opened an account at the bank.
We need you to go have sex
Right?
with Lindsay Wagner right now.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Jamie
I'm sorry.
Summers.
Alexa
I
is way
did
on that
never
phone.
get a Jamie Summers doll though. That was sad.
No, my mom wasn't gonna let me have that.
No.
Because then you were playing with dolls.
Right,
When it was
right.
Steve Austin, you were with
Right.
action figures. When it was Jamie Summers, it was a doll.
Yeah.
All right, Molly. So here's a couple.
Yes.
Their smart home got hacked.
Why not?
Oh, like an Ex Machina.
What?
Yeah.
We
It
just
got
reviewed
hacked
Ex
how?
Machina.
yeah, it was a good
People were
movie.
hacking
2
into
years
their
after the fact.
like.
Yeah.
for the Netflix review show.
It's on Netflix for free. We hadn't seen it.
Oh, wow.
So somebody was controlling their temperature, cranking it up to 90, and
Yeah.
they couldn't switch it off.
Yeah.
And then they were
Someone that
listening.
knew them and was just
No,
being.
this is hacked.
I am.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Okay.
don't need a thermostat that smart.
And they were talking, saying weird stuff in their. I don't know. Whatever talks to you.
You're almost out of fabrics.
But what would be the point of doing that? Like,
Just
why would
messing
you
with
waste your
someone?
time to?
You hate the guy
because you-
down the street
because
because he
you
doesn't mow
can't.
his lawn enough.
I just heard about somebody whose house got broken into, and the only thing that was taken was a remote control.
Yeah, man.
And they drive by changing the channel randomly
Because you can. And the funny part about that stuff,
My wife's car, the headlights turn on randomly because I think someone on the block down us has the same code
Oh
on
my
their fob.
gosh, yeah.
So
The funny part
middle
about
of the
hacking
night,
a
doors
house-
unlock, lights come on.
it's not gonna stop.
No.
What's coming down the pike for internet, like for IP addresses and stuff like that? Basically, when they get everything implemented for this new IP structure, essentially everybody on planet Earth will be able to have like 100,000 of their own IP addresses at least. Like that's how many IP addresses that will be available, which means there's going to be a whole lot of stuff that somebody could try to hack.
Right.
going forward.
But how do you find that in that sea of 1,000 IP addresses? How do you find anything?
I mean, dude, you can
what I mean.
you can walk
That's
down
their
the street
job.
right now with your cell phone to see who's got a wireless.
Well, of course, but I
Right.
mean, so if you have 1,000 IP addresses in your house of your
how can
Internet
you
of
tell-
Things, how can you tell what anything is?
My
That's-
front door's on the
if I have
internet.
one
my
IP
thermostat's
address
on the internet. My toaster's on the internet. My TV's on the
Yeah,
internet.
you don't always
all
have
tied to one IP address, it's easy to get access to everything. But if there's thousands of IP addresses, great, they're hacking into your cufflink recharger.
They don't need to know
for your
what they're
LED
hacking
light up
into. It's all
cufflinks.
about being able to get in there.
Yeah. So we can get in there and figure out what it is.
Yeah,
And then go next.
So-
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't care about his cufflink
But then
charger.
find the next IP address because it's a random. It's not a sequential thing. You're going to have a randomization. So
They'll be
I don't
able to
know.
tell
I
That's
don't
roughly.
not, that's not going to stop
You
them
can
from
tell where
trying to
someone
hack
is
it, though.
with their IP address. You can go on your computer, type in "Where is my IP," and based on the IP address of your computer, it'll bring you up on a map and tell you roughly where you are.
Right.
But there's also things
So
that
you
they
can
can
use
hack and
VPNs
reroute
to hide that. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
and then hide that you're
So-
not in Russia.
Right now, Amazon Alexa has glasses frames. So, do you really want to
Is it a
be
sweet display?
looking at your own credit card
Right.
and have somebody hack into your
Right.
glasses?
Right.
Right.
Or just be able to hack in and hear, everything.
What do the
you're
glasses do?
saying
why
or
don't we just
doing.
have universal basic income so these hackers just stop doing what they're doing?
Because they're doing it for fun.
Right.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know.
That's the
It's-
problem.
There's
it's
the
ridiculous.
scammers and the hackers. The
Yeah.
hackers are doing it for the
Sure.
for the
Yeah,
love.
For the
man.
challenge, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, you can take phone calls.
Yeah.
You can listen to music on your glasses frames.
No thanks.
So
Bluetooth,
it's
wireless.
just it's speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for your
It's
head.
not like it's the camera that they use to shoot the POV pornography.
Maybe.
Wait, what?
That's funny.
Oddly
You
specific.
know that's coming. But here's where Molly.
Yet
That's what
accurate.
Mark's been hacking.
Here's where Molly's got me kind of wanting an Alexa now.
Well, you're the one that showed this to me.
Yeah.
You came up in the room when I was working on the show
I did.
and saw this. Samuel L. Jackson's voice is coming to
Hell
Amazon Alexa.
yeah. Would you want an Amazon Alexa if it's Samuel L. Jackson's?
Listen, yeah.
And it's
And
explicit mode.
There's an
Yeah.
option to turn on explicits. You got
Yeah.
Samuel L.
You got
Jackson
to.
It's
talking
just
to
him
you.
saying motherfucker in 3
You
different
got to.
emotions. That's all it is.
You
yeah,
got to.
that's gonna get old.
But
No.
setting your alarm
After-
to have
It's like
him-
we went on a road trip and we set our GPS to like a novel. It's like John Cleese or something. And after like 20 minutes, we're like, yes, turn it back. We're done with this.
I predict the Amazon Alexa. Is it Amazon that makes Alexa?
Yeah.
The commercial that will air will be people coming up to Samuel L. Jackson going, like they're friends. Like they're,
Right.
oh man, I wake up
Right.
with you every
Yeah, man.
morning.
Order me
Yeah.
flowers.
You
Yeah.
know that's the commercial that's coming.
Yeah.
Because they're
It's
hacks.
bound to happen.
I want to know how long Samuel L. Jackson had to record
a day.
phrases
Here's the
so
commercial.
that they could put
Sam
everything
Jackson
together. So that
Right, yeah.
sitting in
Probably
a cafe.
not long.
He's got a dozen cell phones out in front of him. One rings every second. It picks it up and he says something. So it's like every time you talk to your Alexa, it's forwarding to one of Sam Jackson's cell phones.
really Sam
So he hangs up and I was going to
It's
order
really
me flowers.
Sam Jackson, yeah.
It probably didn't take him long to record it
Yeah.
because he recorded it was a book.
yeah.
I think it was like a children's book or something that he he was reading the children's book, but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Which wasn't that the Go Fuck to Sleep or whatever?
I think so.
They're
Yeah.
making
Oh
something
man,
like
that was
Go the Fuck
hilarious.
to Sleep. I think there's a sequel to that out now.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to find it. That was funny.
But all the different possibilities that Alexa can say, because Alexa will answer lots of different questions, and she has lots of different phrases built into her. And
It might just
whatever.
be words. It might just be a list of words.
Yeah, that's what
and
it
then
is.
she'll assemble
Yeah.
the
and they'll
sentences
put it together.
and she'll make it
Yeah.
sound natural
Mhm.
by adjusting the pitch.
Apple,
I want that.
acid,
Because that's all it is.
Aspirate.
Cadence and
apathy.
Banana, basket.
Yeah, you just have to sit there. But
Back
yeah,
door.
and that's why it all sounds so choppy because it's there's no consistency of inflection. Whatever.
oh,
fine.
Sorry.
okay. Now I hate to say it, that story makes sense now.
Okay. It's not
Tom
a
has
wildly
the the truck stop camel story up.
So it's a Florida woman in Baton Rouge.
Of course.
So they were fucking with the camel is what was going on.
Okay.
And they went into the camel encounter
A camel at a truck stop.
at a gas station. It's like
Okay.
gets people
Like a
hey,
petting
that's-
zoo.
That's the camel place.
Okay.
So
I can say that, come by, come for the camels, stay for the camel.
Can you buy cigarettes from the camel?
right.
well, she was fucking with the camel, so the camel as she said, was attacking her, but it was just a camel that didn't want to be fucked with.
Camels are douches in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
They're not very sociable creatures like ponies might be.
So the camel
And even ponies will fucking bite you.
camel knocked her over. Camel got on top of her, and
Camel's not having it.
she had to bite the camel in the balls.
Okay.
And she doesn't have teeth,
Oh wow.
She'd have just taken
So
it
she
if she was a
gummed
good
its
human
balls?
being.
so she had
But
to.
she-
The camel did nothing wrong. They're saying the couple.
She
were
was
aggressive.
harassing the
There's
camel.
the camel
So the camel sat on her,
Aw.
so she bit the camel.
Hold
in
on.
the sack.
Yeah.
Imagine the story from his point of view.
Aren't you
Right?
guys?
Right?
Wouldn't be the first time that day something was happening to him.
Is that her or is that the camel owner?
That's the camel owner.
Man.
So they had to. They went over or under this fence here.
Please show me a bandaged up ball sack of camel ball sack. I want to see a big bandaged up
There,
ball
it's
sack.
kind. You got a little hanging view. There.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys a little?
Interview the camel. I was minding my
So-
business.
Is it as tender an area for the camel as it is for the human? Because I think
Every
like
day is
humans,
hump day.
we wear our underwear and our pants and our privates are pretty well shielded, whereas animals are just walking around naked all the
Right.
time. So they might be more used to. Oh, there's a breeze. Oh, I bumped my dick on that thing, because they're just naked all the time.
Right.
Whereas we're never naked, and our I'm always behind 2 layers of clothing.
You
at
got
least.
no calluses on
You
your
a
sack.
never
yeah.
nude? Are you a
Well, actually,
Aren't you a little curious what it would taste like
Not at all.
no?
No.
if I had a Harry Potter jelly bean that said camel sack?
No way.
You would eat it?
No way.
I would taste it.
No. I've been to the
They have those
Jelly
weird
Belly
Harry
and I
Potter
wouldn't taste it there.
jelly beans of like
there's like
booger-
the Russian roulette.
yeah, those bad
Jelly
ones.
belly game.
That'd be a hard one to talk him into, but I bet you could do it.
This could be popcorn.
you make me
it could be
camel
camel
belly?
dick.
So,
Camel
Right.
sack.
but I mean,
yeah,
it can't be that much different than skin. I mean, it's skin, right?
well, it's camel.
They
sack.
might have
the
their
chicken
own
skin is the best part.
fleas or rashes that they get that we don't get.
Maybe it's awesome.
Getting the camel into the oven is going to be the challenge.
If it wasn't
It might be
balls,
way better.
you would have a
It might
shot.
be way better than the chicken skin you're eating. You'll never know.
Because it's balls. I can't get on board with that.
Can you?
If you said the hump, okay, I can, I can at least consider that.
What if it was made by a chef and a chef presented you with a delicacy of camel
of a jelly
ball-
bean.
Still wouldn't.
camel balls?
Oh,
I
camel
couldn't
balls?
do it.
And it's a delicacy in this random
Well,
country you're
bull
in.
testicles are a delicacy
Yeah, bull
in some
testicles.
places.
People like that.
Not in my house.
I've never had them.
I've never had them.
Nah, I can't get on board with that. Mountain oysters, isn't that
Rocky
pig?
Mountain oysters.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
That's pig,
yeah.
right?
No, that's
No, that's bull.
That's bull.
That's bull.
That's
Okay,
bull
because my dad
balls.
will eat that, and I'm like, Once he said it was balls, nah.
So he likes them?
He's eaten them before, apparently. Yeah,
All right.
I don't
No,
know.
you're not curious?
not
I
at
would
all.
try
What if
them.
they're amazing?
Are you ball curious?
I will never know.
Ball
Are you ball curious?
They are amaze balls.
I can't. I can't do it.
You're so punny, Mark.
I can't do it. I can't. No, I can't.
I would
can't.
try it. I don't
I
know
just-
if I'd go for a second.
I mean, I could barely.
I
I
have
can't even stomach pig intestines. So
I have a hard time supporting the woman that's defending her camel because she's got camels on display at a gas station where people can get at them close enough to
Right.
bite their
Yeah.
balls.
Well, these people have
They're
defense.
so
Right.
wrong. I mean, I don't. That she's not a hero. She's not a. Fuck that lady.
These people have defense.
Gummed 'em balls.
No. Oh, this I fucking heard about.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
the OK
ridiculous.
sign is added to the list of hate symbols.
Yeah.
Oh,
wait,
no.
first of all, I didn't know that there was a list of hate symbols to begin with.
Right.
Well, yeah.
There is. I saw an article like this, and there's a Jewish group that has a list.
See, man.
compiled.
Okay, all
What are
right.
you what are you doing today? I'm gonna go through
I'm not
all
gonna
the
respond,
emojis.
so y'all won't get
and
kicked
the
off.
idea
And I'm
is
gonna make a
it's a-
list of
it's a
things
P
that
and a
offend me
W.
because I have nothing better to
Is
do
the
today
logic. Like
than to be,
based to saying, like, East
That's
Side.
the W, and then this is an upside down P. That if you go all the way over like this, now it's an MP. Is this offensive to members of the
Military
members
police?
of Parliament in England? Do we have to?
What this proves
Fuck off.
is what I hate about society right now, and that is simply anything can now be considered offensive.
Yep.
In other words, when people started doing the OK sign, they were not trying to offend anybody.
No, it's
What do you
just
say
okay.
to
It's just
what do you
okay,
say to
so-
deaf people when you take away part of their alphabet, part of their freaking vocabulary? This is their N-word, man.
What about scuba divers? Is your air good?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Right.
You
so,
son of a bitch.
so now
Start stabbing him into the
every
water.
single hand gesture, somebody can say that
Yeah.
offends me.
Well, what
Yeah.
happened was this was a fake story that came out, like a tongue-in-cheek story that white supremacy groups were using this. It was a tongue-in-cheek joke story. Then white supremacy groups started using it
See,
For the lulls.
for anybody
See?
who gets
Okay,
whatever.
so
And
the-
then they said, like, it's for the media's overreaction of something. So you're trying to get a media person all pissed off. You go, okay, and now it's a hate speech. So even if this white supremacy group would say, this is now our sign, thumbs up or
Right,
something,
right.
now we got to ban
Thumbs
thumbs up.
I'm telling you.
So that's where the banning of all this stuff is dangerous. This is a topic I thought we were going to hit today, is the whole Joker thing.
Yeah.
And I think, what's his name, the director, finally hit on it and said, this is
Scorsese?
no, that's what's his name, Tony, what's his name, Porter. But
yeah.
I thought he landed on it. It's the only reason anybody is talking about is because you interviewers keep asking us about this.
wait, what happened with the Joker?
So they're saying it's going to push violence and someone's going to react to it and go shoot things up. Well, okay, that means you're just giving credence to this whole idea that video game violence and movie violence is responsible for real
They're
violence.
putting out this huge scare tactic saying that there's going to be like there's going to be shootings at the theaters at the
Yes.
at the opening.
So somebody
of the
should have
movie.
pointed out,
It's a
well,
Project Ultimate
well, if it
Chaos
didn't happen after the Purge, why do you assume it's going to happen after the Joker?
Because of the last Joker
'Cause it's
shooter.
such a violent
right?
Because
movie.
it's a giant movie that
The guy who dressed up as a Joker.
I can get my
There was a guy
my
who dressed
blog
up and shot up a theater. years ago.
recognized. I get a better headline position on Rolling Stone's website if I write a stupid story about
Yep.
this.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
But you're just
all for the
blowing it up
clicks.
and making it more
Yes.
of
oh
a,
my
you know.
goodness, man!
Yes.
These people, I'm literally starting to hate society.
Well, it's the same thing.
I hate to say it, but that's how it really feels. Like, wow, you guys are idiots.
When I was trying to get into law school in the 90s, early 90s, there were more people in law school at that time than there were lawyers practicing law in the country.
Wow.
Because so many colleges went, Jesus Christ, we can charge $40,000 a semester for these last 4 semesters for someone that wants to get a JD. Everybody suddenly had a law school program, and everybody was going in. And so now you have this thing. So I coined the term entrepreneurial lawyerism. That you were going to have to, if
like
you got a
that.
law degree, you were going to have to come up with ways to put your law degree into work and have to just figure out ways to sue more people. It's the same thing now. Now we've got all these citizen journalists that all have websites and all want to
Right.
be journalists. You know, there's no real journalism anymore.
Right.
So let's fucking make up a story about, oh, the Joker's going to foment all this violence. Well, is there any evidence of this? Well, no, but if we talk about it enough, it will.
Right.
And then we'll have another story to write. It's,
Right.
Oh, screw
Because you got all of these Avengers, but you don't see packs of people rescuing people.
Yeah.
Right?
Right?
Right.
It's always skewed in the negative. Like whenever you try to flip it to the other direction, it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense because the inverse isn't happening at all. Right? I've yet to see a dude in a Captain America outfit trying to stop a bank robbery.
Well, wasn't there a group in Seattle that was doing
Heroes
that?
of the Night. Right
Yeah.
there, that book by T. Krulos. All
They
the
were like-
superheroes around the country.
Is that right?
They're
Yeah,
like
he
neighborhood
went
watch people.
Dressing up
yeah.
in outfits?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's
right,
That's
awesome.
right there.
There you go.
That's awesome.
But yeah, to go back to the white power hand symbol, I find it frustrating because this is a thing we all do.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're letting them have the power to take it away from us.
Exactly.
We should all be doing this even more so it becomes meaningless to them.
That's how I feel.
So they can't use it as a symbol in between each
Right.
other.
That's how I feel.
There you go, man.
That's how I
Just
feel.
taking it back.
That's right. You
Yeah.
damn right, Whitey.
This was the last one.
What does that mean? Hate?
No, actually. So I think it was
Isn't that
Paul
some-
Pierce after a shot or something like that did like this, right?
It's the love sign, right?
Then
The
it
heart.
came.
man, heart.
It came out. But that's the thing. To everybody else, this is a heart. Oh, but the Crips do that. So he's throwing up the Crip symbol, and everybody was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Right? Not much long. Not was it a couple months later? Some nonprofit agency comes out. Guess what their symbol was? So I'm like, so what are you guys talking about? You're making something be whatever you want it to be to fit whatever story you want to push out there. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's true.
Yeah.
So my contention is do what you said. Well, then everybody should be doing this
Yeah.
because guess what? As of last year, I saw somebody doing this. Still meant a heart symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
Taking it back.
I always knew my 14-year-old was in the Crips. I just knew it.
Oh, I love you, Daddy.
Wait,
Want to rape you, Dad?
Compton
Gonna
Crips?
kill you, Dad. Don't step on my territory, Dad. It's my house, kid. Get out of
We're
here.
getting into some comic territory. I saved this story from last week for you guys.
Uh-oh.
It's the Shane Gillis story
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
coming up. So
Yeah.
he's hired and then immediately fired
Within
by Saturday
weeks,
night.
yeah.
night.
Okay.
Yeah, days.
4 days.
So what did he allegedly do wrong?
He's on a network that is
He made
kind
some-
of alt-right, and
I don't know.
But he
Didn't really
tweeted.
vet him.
He tweeted, and
it was
I
tweeted
think
and
they
he was
did.
on a podcast
I think they
making,
hired
like,
him.
racist jokes.
Yeah, but I
Okay,
think
but
they
when
hired him on purpose so they could fire him. I
We
think
got
they knew it.
Conspiracy here.
Well, I think they did it because Saturday Night Live sucks, and they need to get some
Drum
sort
up
of media.
some- yeah.
They were
Some
so
controversy.
they were so down the anti-Trump road. They needed something to reset the rhetoric.
To be like,
And I-
oh,
and
they're
I think
trying to do
that's-
the right thing.
I think
They-
that I
they
think
did.
that's what they did.
Okay, so here's what I'm asking. I would be more interested in knowing what the guy actually said before I get.
There's a bunch of them, and
He
and
said black guys walk like this, and white
No,
guys
he-
walk
he's
like this.
he's a
Right.
He does a lot of stereotype doesn't do a lot of stereotype comedy. He does a tiny bit of stereotypical comedy, but that means you do a ton. And do you know the story about the kid from Des Moines that held up the sign?
The charity kid.
Yeah, charity kid, 24 years old, holds up a sign saying
Beer money for a hospital or something.
was it
right?
Venmo? He was
Something.
asking people to say, so he had his Venmo account thing along the bottom. He was saying,
Okay.
I can't afford my Bud Light. Please send me money is
Busch
basically
Light,
what it
yeah,
amounts
Busch
to.
Light.
Was it Bush Light? Okay.
I believe.
Oh,
it
it's
was
horrible.
Busch Light.
What a
It's
poor
still
guy.
Anheuser was
Yeah.
the same thing.
So he got $100,000.
Okay.
People sent him $100,000 to his Venmo account.
Okay.
And then Venmo agreed to match it.
Okay.
And then Budweiser agreed to match it. So
Okay.
it was now like
It's going to
$325,000 was going to go to Children's Hospital of Des Moines.
Okay.
And a reporter
A
at the
journalist,
Des Moines
air
Register, dug through this 24-year-old guy's Twitter feed
For 8 years.
all the way back to when he was 16 years old. Two tweets, thousands of tweets this kid has.
Yep.
Two. He and his buddies were not in the same room. They were scattered about watching Tosh.0.
Okay.
And he commented, much as if you good people of America would sit around in the breakfast room of a Motel 6 with us at 3 a.m. Comedians say some of the most horrific things, but we can say it with each other because we know we're not serious. We know we're joshing, we're screwing
Right.
around, we're having fun.
Right.
And we're going for the joke more than we're going for propriety or any
Right.
lack of offense of anyone, because that's what we do. And these dudes thought they were just tweeting amongst themselves and, oh, but Twitter's worldwide. You got to know this stuff. They're holding this dude for 2 tweets 8 years ago, a third of his life
When he
ago.
was a
Right.
16-year-old
When he was 16
boy.
years old. And they had meetings about it at the
Right.
Des Moines Register
See?
of whether they should run the article with this information in it. And they did. Guess who they didn't vet?
I know this.
The reporter who has hundreds of what could be construed offensive tweets, and he's not a comedian. He's not joshing. He's just a racist piece of crap. And that son of a gun right now still has his job, but I don't think he will. I think
You
he'll
know who
be
the
gone.
real victims are here?
Yeah.
Budweiser pulled out. That money's not going to Children's
No,
Hospital.
Budweiser's still sending the money.
Okay.
They've just ended their relationship with him.
Okay.
They couldn't sustain that much of fake outrage.
That
They had to at least, you can't back out of that.
Okay.
It's babies.
that is my
You're
number
screwed.
one reason why.
But they were going to do stuff with this guy, like going on
Yeah,
forward.
put him in a commercial or something.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be great.
That's my number one reason why I hate social media.
Yeah.
Because
That stuff's up there forever now.
Facebook Live.
well, more so. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's
I'm
not
sorry.
really. That reporter started going through and deleting all of his own tweets.
But what I mean
Oh,
is
you son of a.
what I mean is the original intent of social media was not designed for you to use something somebody says against them. For example, when you go to fill out a job application or whatever, like companies now they will check out all of your
Yes, they
social
will.
Your
profiles
pictures, yeah.
so they can build a case
Yes.
almost against you. It's like, well, wait a minute. What goes on when I'm not at work should not be getting used for you to tell me that I can't work. So what I ended up doing, that's the reason why I only have Instagram.
Well,
I mean, I have Twitter, but I hardly use it.
But that's the exact reason that I constantly tweet offensive material and put offensive stuff on Facebook so I can never get a job.
Oh well, congratulations!
You're committing to this comedy.
You've got
Hell
it
yeah.
figured out.
Hell yeah.
But something like that,
I have
like
I'm burning every bridge.
even with Kevin Hart, when they were like, you know, we want you to be the host, but you said something way on Twitter, way
Years ago.
It's like
But he apologized for it back then.
there has to be a point where somebody goes, listen,
How many shows?
the
did he go on?
statutes of limitation on that tweet have expired,
Yeah.
right? Because otherwise, you will be. Everybody probably has tweeted something that somebody
Yeah.
can say,
We've all
I'm
said
offended
things we
at that.
instantly regret.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotten too out of hand where everybody's in a rush to grab the torch and pitchfork,
Yeah.
you know, and
And be the hero or whatever.
right. It's like, dude, you guys need to chill out. It's not that serious.
So in the comedy world that you guys have to deal with, if a lot of people like these edgy comedians, you know, Bill Burr, they push the line.
Jesselnick,
Dave
yeah.
Chappelle.
One of my favorite comics is
Dave Chappelle
Bill
does
Burr.
that. In order to get that good, you're not allowed to take any risks anymore to get that comedy. It's like if you are Shane Gillis, for example, you aren't that funny. You fall off a cliff and your career's done. So where is a place that comics can work on offensive material without
exist.
any?
Your house.
Yeah. Yeah. Your bathroom mirror.
Inside of your house.
And how do you know if you're any good?
Right.
You won't know.
What a conundrum.
Yeah.
What a conundrum.
Because what has happened definitely over the past 10 years, there used to be a time where people could come into a comedy club, sit down, just be entertained. There was an understanding that when we're in this space,
Yep.
like this is us
It's a
in
safe
this space,
space.
and we're sharing, a moment, right? And anything else that's outside of this doesn't really matter right now. What started happening was, I remember it starting with Tracy Morgan. And so he must have had a joke, and in the joke he must have said something about not knowing how he would react if he found out one of his kids was gay or something like that.
Mhm.
Somebody took what he said on stage and then started, basically made a case against him, like, oh, you're this type of person, you're that type of person. And once that happens, you've totally ruined stand-up comedy, because now no matter what you say on stage, even when people are laughing, you're being judged as this is how you
This is what I
this
my
is
core
how you feel.
beliefs.
It's like, but it was during a comedy set. The whole point of the joke
Just to make you laugh.
You're not supposed to assume that this is real.
Yeah.
And once that started happening on a consistent basis, I was like, these people are ruining stand-up comedy. Because now
There's no context.
because now you can't walk on the stage and say anything, because like I said, somebody's going to be offended. I did a joke about it was not even part of my act. I was in the Caribbean. Actually, I was on a cruise ship, and I just happened to say
It
it's
took him 3 moves to admit that.
I know, right? It's hard. No, I love cruising.
I know.
I have no idea why comics. I have no idea why comics
I know,
bash cruise
'cause they're
ships, but
dumb. 'Cause they're dumb.
but all I said
Some of them are
was it's hard to convince people from Wisconsin that the globe is getting warmer, because we've had 60 below winters.
You skeptic. You climate
Right?
skeptic.
An hour and a half later, some lady, old white lady, comes up to me and says, you really shouldn't joke about climate change. I said, I'm sorry. She was like, well, you told the joke and you were saying that global warming wasn't real. I said, no. I said, I didn't say it wasn't real. I said, but if you live in
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, it's hard to convince us that, with what we've had to deal with. Well, if you joke about it, people are not going to take it seriously.
Yeah.
I said, if anybody just changes their view on global warming based on a joke I wrote, there's bigger problems happening.
For sure.
Well, that's a great way to bring someone around, too. If you want to plant that nugget of changing someone's mind, of making them stop being a flat earther. You make up a funny joke about it, and now that at least they're talking to you.
That's the
And,
problem.
yeah.
That's literally the problem with whatever society is today, is they have forgotten or they're unaware. The whole reason Mark Twain and Will Rogers were who they were is they took down the problems of society.
Right.
It was only through humor that people would become aware of things.
Right.
we were the social commentators. We were
right.
the people who brought you the issues. And now if we joke about it, you're not taking it seriously
Yeah.
enough, young man.
Right.
I'm offended by your lack of seriousness over this very serious issue. What the fuck are you doing at a comedy club? Get out there and preach
Exactly.
your global warming bullshit.
Exactly. And it's easier to.
What are
it's
you doing
easier
here?
to
You're
attack-
wasting time.
It's easier to attack one guy standing on the
For
stage
sure
by
it is.
himself.
For sure.
It's easier for you to be, that's why, I mean, you rarely hear hecklers at a rock concert.
Yeah. Well,
right?
oh no.
Right.
Gene Simmons,
We
Gene
can-
Simmons got heckled for his misogynistic lyrics.
Right,
It's
but-
coming to your rock theater
How
But-
much
soon.
did those
but
tickets
we-
cost for her to go there?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
heckle-
$500 to
but
tell
we
him he's
can,
wrong.
we can just turn the
Who's the
music
winner
up.
here?
We can turn the music up and drown you out. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's. I don't even know what the guy said, but my take on it is, regardless of what he said, if he was saying it on stage,
He was on a podcast. He was doing it on a podcast.
Yeah.
so he was making comments on a podcast, but it wasn't about whatever his comedy act is.
I
you're
assume
talking
comedians
Shane-
are always
Shane
workshopping
Gillis?
things.
Always.
At any given moment, you're just
Well,
you're
you brought
crafting
me on this
thing.
podcast to be funny. I'm trying to be fun. I'm trying to take institutions down. I'm trying to look at topics from a juxtaposition that someone else doesn't. My sister-in-law's had cancer 4 times. She's got the best cancer jokes in the world because
right.
that's how she gets through cancer.
Right.
The way we talk about serious issues is we joke about them,
Right.
because then we can address the seriousness of it because we've eased into it. But yeah,
But-
you're all stupid.
But
is
it,
what I'm saying.
But it also kind of emphasizes
Go to a comedy
the,
club. Lighten
the
up.
times that you live in. I think you said it earlier when it was like, certain movies came out during the time. That's why it's a classic. It fit that time.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also say the same thing. Listen, I don't think that Andrew Dice Clay would have a career if he was starting right now.
Oh, no, could not.
There's no
couldn't.
way in the world that
No.
dude would have ever.
So we're missing out on the next Sam Kinison, is what you're saying.
100%.
I think so.
He could be out there right
100%.
now.
I think
No,
so.
100%.
I think so.
That guy has already been shut down.
Yeah.
And that's literally, I just was driving last night, and that's literally the tour idea is you can only come to this show if you have to sign a First Amendment pledge.
Yeah, man.
That you believe in the First Amendment, that you are a person who's not offended by any topic. Don't enter this showroom if you harbor any offense for anything. Please, sorry. It's a comedy show. We're going
Right.
to joke about stuff. We're going to talk about
Now,
stuff.
I will say this. 2 more things about that. I will say, even though what he was saying, me not knowing what he was saying was construed as racism, I will say that I personally have watched enough white comics on stage where it wasn't what they were saying, it's how they were saying it. I was like, this dude is a racist and he's using humor to be able to say what he wants to say.
Mm-hmm.
I've even had guys would even admit it. The other thing I would say is, but all of this is the reason why I will never apologize for anything I say on stage. Because the way I view it is, when I'm on stage and I'm holding that microphone, I'm speaking my truth. You paid money to come and be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you were going to be here when I showed up. So the only thing I can tell you is what my truth is, and I'm never going to apologize for my truth, whether you agree with it or not.
Right. But don't you want that guy to be that racist guy on stage? Because that's his truth. I don't want him to hide it. I want him to put it out there.
Yeah.
Then I know. And I know to never work with that guy. I know to tell people if it comes up in conversation, don't go see that guy. He's a racist, because there's no equivocation. We know now. The worst thing about telling people there's things you can't say, there's symbols you can't use, is then you don't know.
Right.
Let them be who they are and go. Let them out themselves.
You're
I'd
driving
rather
them
know.
underground where they're going to fester and they're going to get worse, like cockroaches.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let
but
him
see,
out.
but like you just said, if that's what his truth is, then I'm like, dude, speak your truth, but you also have to own it. I've had more white dudes tell me, James, you can say whatever you want on stage because you're a black guy. Now, the last guy that said it to me, grew up in Chicago. He basically was the only white guy not the only white guy in the school, but one of the few white guys in a predominantly black school. Yeah. So his observations were hilarious. But so he was like, but James, you can talk about stuff being the only black guy in a white environment. I said, Scott, that's not the issue. Yeah. I said, you are walking on stage as a white dude, bald, skinny white dude with just a goatee right here. you look like you might be a white supremacist. So when you making these comments about going to a black school, it doesn't come off the same way to a white audience because of your look, not necessarily the jokes.
But that's exposition. You lay out the groundwork, you paint the picture, you tell the story, and you can get Roy Haber, who is about
We have totally went off on a
who is a
tangent.
5'2" comedian. Roy Haber is a 5'2" comedian with piercings, tattoos, shaved head, and he wears what does he call himself? The Sons of Anarchy meets the Little People of Hollywood, or whatever. and he's Jewish, and he's got all of it. He's got every little category checked off, and he does such a great job of exposing that stuff through exposition, through telling the story. Your friend has no right to say that you can say anything because you're black, because he can say anything. He just needs to set the stage properly.
Which I don't disagree with. I've had enough guys, white guys, to say that. I understood where they were coming from.
Sure.
But I felt like how you feel. I'm like, well, some of that is presentation. Some of that is
All it is.
you know, how you're putting it together. Because if you come across Scott's material, generally speaking, is very just abrasive in general.
Sure.
So even though your observations are funny, it's coming across like you putting people down, even though technically this is what happened to you and this is your experience. So it's bigger than just, you know, you being a white guy. There's other angles to it.
No dispute. But I get frustrated with comedians like that always have an excuse for something else.
Right.
It's like, hey, I used to have back in this thing. I don't know if you kids remember MySpace. It's way back.
I loved MySpace.
Gather around the fire, kids. I'm going to tell you about this thing called MySpace.
I loved MySpace.
Me too.
It was
I
a
was
great
sad
platform.
when it died.
Oh,
Me too.
Worst. I literally had this phrase under my name. It just said, "Just be funnier." And that's what someone would come up and ask you for advice, and I'd say, "Just be funny."
Right.
That's all you got to be a comedian. Just be funny. Well, how do I know if I'm being funny? You say words, they laugh.
If they don't laugh, you're doing
Here's
it wrong.
the best thing
Right.
about laughter.
Right.
It is completely. You can't edit it. You can't stop it.
Right.
If you make somebody laugh. Now, I love my favorite jokes are the jokes that go when they go, ha, oh.
Right.
Those are my favorite. They laughed first, and then they realize that they just laughed at something horrific. That's the best. Because like, no, that's on you. You can't be offended now. You laugh first. So you get that guy who's like, well, I'm really not getting anywhere in comedy. Yeah, I know. I saw your set. You're terrible. You're just I was at Rounding Third. I never go to open mics anymore, and I went to Rounding Third on Sunday. And this kid is just like, yeah, but I just can't ever seem to get anybody to laugh. Like, yeah, you're terrible. You're just not good at this. Now, I'm telling you that on this date, at this moment in time, you will do this 10,000 more times to find out if you can ultimately make anybody, or you'll quit.
Right.
So many people were terrible. I was terrible
That's
when
what
I started.
open mics are for, right?
That's all it's about, is go up there and maybe pay attention to yourself, and maybe you'll figure out where you screwed up, because there's no, sorry, Jim Roth, there's no class for
That's
this
funny.
that you can take. That's too personal.
Funny. And that's almost an
find out.
irony. Even if you do get the laughs at an open mic, which in term traditionally
harder.
would be filled with a bunch of comics,
It's
so
harder
getting
to
them
get
to
laughs
laugh
there,
is
yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
Then you got to deal with the public who is squashing the next Sam Kinison anyway.
Yes, right.
You know what I mean? So somebody's you're gonna have the opposition, which means that if you can make it to a particular level, you must be good these days. Because I feel like it's, you know, you have more opposition against your creativity now than you did, you know, years ago.
Yeah, open mics used to be a great barometer. If you could get comedians to laugh, you must be okay, because it's difficult to get them to laugh. Now, if you're getting comedians to laugh, it's probably too offensive for the general public. And you are actually finding out that you're screwing yourself in that process.
Like, oh, y'all laughed, I gotta back this down
holy
somewhere.
Cow,
Yeah.
this is all wrong.
Yeah.
I got to start over.
Yeah.
Right. Yep,
Tom's mom
absolutely.
says we should have comedians perform behind a curtain, get the laughs, and then lift the curtains to see the audience reactions.
That's funny.
That's been done. Yeah,
But
that's been
I
done.
like that.
Don't a lot of comics use like a lot of physicality
Of
in their
course.
jokes? And, like,
Depends. Facial expressions
feed
do.
off of
yeah.
the-
And there's
you
different
know.
types of comedians. There's comedians who literally don't even take the mic out of the mic stand and stand there with hands in pockets and don't move.
Right.
And then there's guys marching back and forth across the stage to get laughs, and that act out is what it's called. And those things, yeah, it's difficult, but it's a valid point. Is what you're saying actually funny? But is it funny because of the tonality,
Is it-
because of the
Right.
inflection and all those things?
Because I've literally experienced this being like on comedy scenes in other areas. Like guys will like get together, workshop or whatever. And I had this guy, when we would get to my joke, he was like, James, these jokes are not funny. He was like, I don't see why you even think that this is funny. He was like, I don't know what to do with this. And so a couple months passed, and I ended up bringing him to open, at a paid show.
Mhm.
And when I got off the stage, he was like, "Oh my God."
That was funny.
He was like, I didn't get it when it was just written out.
Mhm.
But watching you perform the joke, it is hilarious. And that's when I realized that's the way jokes are.
Mhm.
Some stuff is like
It's your
written
delivery.
down is funny, but then some stuff written down, so what is that? And if you're, because I wouldn't say I'm animated, but definitely facial expressions and the act out thing
Sure.
is definitely part of how I bring life to a joke. Written down, it sucks.
Well, it talks about how important the whole package is. A comedy club is not designed the way it is to make your life beautiful. It's designed to make the comedians as funny as possible. It's perfect sound. It's perfect lighting. It's a low ceiling to keep everything compressed and all those things. And they fuck with the temperature and everything just to keep it.
Right.
But Brian, do you know Brian McCree from Detroit?
Yes.
So Brian, we're doing a show up in Wausau, and it's the first time this place is ever doing the show. And the lighting that we have for the room is the perimeter can lighting around the banquet room. And they've set us up like 8 feet away from the wall. So basically we're backlit. Brian's first 10 minutes to introduce himself is all facial expression. He literally, his
Right.
opening joke is, who hired Whoopi Goldberg to do the show? And he does this Whoopi face. He looks just like Whoopi
Yes.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
You can't see him because he's a very
Right.
dark-skinned black man,
Yes.
silhouetted with the light behind him. And it's just, they're just staring at him.
Right.
And he literally goes, nothing? Really? I'm like, they can't see you, man. You want me to get a mag light? I'll shine it on your face. And it's that, it can be that specific. So unfortunately, Tom's mom, we can't just stand behind a curtain sometimes. We do have
I
to
think
be
it depends
seen.
on the act and the comedian.
For sure,
probably.
yes.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
so it's just funny that
It's hilarious, dude.
but it's all those things.
Yeah.
It's all those things that come in. So yeah, some douchebag at a writing group can say, oh, I don't see why this is funny. But to have the audacity then, I don't think he knew. He just saw other people laugh. So, because anybody that can't see.
No, this guy
they
understood
can't have
it.
vision.
This
really.
guy understood it. When he saw the joke performed,
Did he work? Did he
got
work
it.
for cheap? I'm just kidding.
Actually, no, he didn't. No, I tried to hook. I made sure I hooked him up.
All right.
But no, he was a
Yeah.
great writer, and that's why I liked working with him because
Sure.
he had the jokes that when you read them, they're funny. But
Sure.
he was the inverse. He didn't bring the jokes out.
No presentation.
So he may or may not get a laugh on a great joke.
Yeah.
And I was the opposite, where I was like, no, I'm bringing this joke to life, but reading yours is probably better. So yeah.
you show up and there's like a little pack of paper on each chair.
right.
He's just standing up there. Any questions?
So where can we see you guys next? What are you guys doing next year?
Actually, I'm doing The Benefit.
I will be at the Rice Lake VFW Hall on Saturday, October 5th, performing with the man of 999 impressions, Bob J.
Oh, Bob
from
J.
Chicago. Bob J. and I'll be at the
I thought
VFW
you were going to say
Hall.
the black dude from Police Academy.
Oh, yeah.
I know there was
You
somebody
just
else that
called him
had.
the black dude from
I couldn't think of Michael's name.
Mike?
Yeah.
Mike.
That's funny.
So I have that, then I have that, and then we're in
We're in Appleton, right?
on the
Yeah.
19th, and
We're in Grafton on the 12th.
and we're in Grafton on the 12th.
Yep,
yeah,
Grafton on the
absolutely.
12th, yeah.
Grafton on the 12th is going to be the best show
Yeah, it is.
ever.
Definitely.
Dana Ervin is our special guest.
I
Dana
love
Ervin from
Dana
Chicago.
Ervin.
She's
Or
hilarious.
from Milwaukee, I mean, and hopefully from Chicago someday. Dana, get out of town. Get the hell down to Chicago. You'll be funnier there.
Dana Ervin.
They
is
don't
awesome.
appreciate you here in Milwaukee. And I don't mean that. Anyway, everybody loves you.
I love
I just
her.
don't. I don't want to suffer the flack. I've got to do some more open mics because I got to do 30 minutes of clean material in VFW Hall. So I got to I got to practice. So don't come up to me at an open
Do
mic
make it
and
sound
tell
like
me I'm
he
a dick.
don't have 30 minutes of clean material.
No, I'm just working it over. I haven't done it in a while. The last one was at Dangerfields, and that was like a year ago now. So I just haven't done the
okay.
clean set. So I want to do the clean set again, and I've just been. That's why I went to Rounding Third, was to do.
You gotta let
And
me,
I still swore like 7 times. I'm like, shit, shit.
but you reduced it from
Get out of the
30
loop.
swears.
Yeah.
Well,
They don't give
yeah,
you credit.
from 90 swears, yeah, and
Yeah.
3 horrible.
95% less
Yeah,
swears.
yeah.
It's like, hey.
Do you have any idea how
You're
difficult this is?
statistically cleaner.
Yes, right. Yes,
All right,
I'm
we'll
way
do a
better than Bleach.
speed rail quick. So Emmys happened. I know this is news because nobody watched them. The pre-game of Sunday Night Football outscored them by 5 times.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Nobody
cares about you, Hollywood.
Nope. Meth is making a humongous comeback
Meth?
in the U.S.
Is it?
Meth is.
I thought you said math, and I was excited for a second.
No, meth.
STEM.
They thought when they took down El Chapo, the next guy just takes over and.
So
Really?
So you know what's about to happen.
40 years.
When
of
the
drug
Breaking
war,
Bad
we don't know
movie
that.
comes out, they're gonna say, "Oh, meth is gonna go up. It's gonna
Yep.
skyrocket."
Yeah.
Because of the movie.
Well, thank
Because
God
of the movie.
Thank,
Because of the
thank
show.
goodness this came out first, because at least they can say, well, no, it was
No,
already
they
in the
can't.
Right.
They'll still pin it on
Yeah,
it.
They'll
right,
try to.
for
Oh.
sure.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Matrix 4 is happening.
Yep, I've heard about it.
Keanu just signed on.
Are you
so
guys
did,
seriously excited about it?
Carrie Ann
I'm
Fisher.
optimistic the Wachowskis are hit or miss,
And, the
and
first
when
one-
they hit it good. When they miss,
first
they
one
miss it
was
bad.
So Casey
good,
at the
but
bat.
then-
I love the first
Gonna
one.
strike out or a
I-
home run.
As a trilogy, I did like them. I think I probably like the first and the second one the
The
best.
first one is easily the best.
Yeah.
It's one of the best sci-fi movies of our
But I
generation.
don't think you need a fourth of any.
Well,
It's
'cause
gonna
the
be a
third one was
standalone.
just like
The fourth of anything is you sitting in your backyard going, I'd really like to change the siding on this mansion.
Man.
Let's write another
Man.
Someone will give me 120 million. I'll make 100 million on it. I can do a new house.
You definitely.
That
He died.
He's done.
in one universe, sir.
He's
in
like
one
Jesus.
multiverse.
That's
You
the
right.
best thing about
You right.
Jesus. You turn
You
around,
right.
he's back.
spoiler.
You're right.
Come on, man.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, get your fall body ready. That's a new saying now. Everybody.
Fall body.
No,
Fall
that's
body.
never happening.
Like my body for falling.
Yes, it is. That's just more cheese curds and beer.
Like
That's
say
my
lumber?
fall body.
No,
is-
I'm saying
Getting
my
in more
summer
better
and fall
insulation.
body are the same body.
Like
You
Tom
need to-
Brady, release.
But you need the insulation to get ready for
Yes.
the Wisconsin winter.
Yes.
That's the fall body.
That's the
Well,
fall
it's
body.
wearing more comfortable clothes. Jeans are, you can get out of your summer body, enjoy the pumpkin
Broke out the
spice.
hoodies about a week ago.
Ladies, take off the stretch pants. That's all I'm saying.
Internet
Put out a cardigan.
Internet is losing
your
its
mom
mind
jeans,
about
bitches.
Tropical Storm Karen. Seems to want to speak to a manager. That's the joke going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah. She's going to be heavily featured on Reddit.
That's funny.
Brendan, this is going to blow your mind.
Oh, boy.
A British study concludes that money can buy happiness.
No, I've always believed that. I've always believed that. Yes. And I think the number 75,000 is what it is.
That's the studies tested stress and mental health against regular people and lottery winners. Turns
Well-
out when you don't worry about money, you have
Yeah.
less stress, your
Well-
mental health is better, you live
I
longer.
can agree with
There's
that.
that company in Seattle where the guy was making millions of dollars, cut his salary to 100,000, and every employee makes $75,000.
Okay.
Anybody that wasn't
Wow.
making 75,000 was raised to 75,000. He just announced he's raising everybody's pay by 10 grand next year
Okay.
because his
Wow.
employees show up on time, they're happy, they do their jobs because they don't worry about money.
Yep.
Well, hell yeah, I would.
That's what it is. Hey, when you stagnate wages, America, for 20 years in a row,
Dude.
you get an unhappy population.
Kind of the Henry Ford approach. He paid his workers so much that they knew they couldn't get that anywhere else.
Exactly.
Double.
So they
Double.
worked extra hard because they didn't want to lose this,
Right.
this
Yes.
gravy boat gig.
And then
Yeah,
they
man.
unionized and he cut it all. So that's what
There you
happened.
go.
That's what happened. It's the
story
worst
for
story
another
ever.
day.
He was talking about up until that point.
Yes. But for like 14 years of the Ford factory, his employees weren't unionized. They had housing. They had child care. You could drop your kids off if the wife would go and work in the factory. They had child care. They had grocery stores they bought in bulk and all the groceries were cheaper, provided housing and double the pay than Chevrolet. And then they were all convinced by this thing called the UAW to unionize, and he cut it all. He goes, "Don't do it. Don't do it. I will cut everything."
Gravy train stops
Yep.
here.
And
Yeah,
and
man.
they said, "No, we just don't feel like we can get a better deal." Sure,
Then
go
go
ahead.
get it.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Yeah.
A very classy portrait of Channing Tatum hanging dong sold for $6,600 on eBay.
6,600.
Yep,
Wow.
6,600.
$6,600.
His
I think it would've been
dong?
more.
He was very classy. It was a portrait.
I could get more for a portrait of myself naked.
For $1, you can go on Patreon and get a picture of me and Mark docking.
It'll be a cropped picture, so you want people to tell it's us. So which one of you has a black dick?
McDonald's signed up for Beyond Meat and is going to try out selling meatless burgers. The PTL, plant lettuce and tomato.
Why are we doing meatless
PLT.
burgers, people?
To prove that they don't taste like shit.
Wasn't there a whole thing about Disney going vegan too?
Stop.
Yes, Disney has a vegan option in all of their
How much money are they spending?
660 restaurants in the park.
I
Go
feel
vegan.
like vegan is un-American, dude.
But let the market,
Yeah.
Yeah, if no one's buying them.
Well,
they'll
that's
take
what I was
care of
going
them.
to say. Is McDonald's is only doing this because you notice they let everybody else do it first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Burger King has been advertising the Incrediburger for weeks now, and they have to have seen some effect. McDonald's would never
They're
make a
losing
decision.
sales, yeah.
They might do it for PR for a week or two. They got rid of those cookies for 6 months. The 3 cookies for $1, and it's like, oh yeah, we're really bad for not pushing our salads and selling you cookies instead. We're gonna get rid of them.
And then
And
they
I
brought
was
him
like,
back.
I was like, God, I love those.
If I wanted
Man,
a salad,
those are
I'd have
such-
bought the fucking salad.
Exactly.
Those cookies are so damn good for
Idiots.
$1, and this is the worst outrage ever. Oh, it's July. Cookies are back. It's great.
Nah, don't mess up a good thing, Chief.
I'll back you, McDonald's. I'll stay with you. I believe your PR ruses.
It'd be like if Taco Bell got rid of those Cinnabon things. Those are so good.
Those are
The
good.
Cinesticks.
No,
No.
they're like little balls with the cinnamon.
I've
Like,
been at Taco Bell in a while. They closed my Taco Bell down
Camel
here in
balls?
Grafton.
Mm.
no, they're like cinnamon balls
With
with the
the-
frosting on the inside.
Yeah,
Oh,
Chief.
okay.
That's what
I'm
Camel
not
Balls taste
comfortable with any
That's-
type of anything squirting in my mouth. However,
Gushers?
Not a big fan of the hot load.
gushers, but those things are great.
Fucking amazing.
And certain
Oh,
donuts,
those are
I
the
figured
cinnamon
out how
sugar.
to eat around this donut, so I don't get that.
It has been so long since I've been at a Taco Bell. I was on it. So what is this? It's a little cinnamon ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
With
It's got cream inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
warm and it's got like the cream on the inside of it,
Wow.
and so you bite into it and it's
It's
just,
just a jizz in your mouth.
Yeah.
of goodness.
Basically.
Yeah, it's
So
Basically.
good.
same color, same temperature.
I hate to say it.
Yeah.
so good.
So great.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for coming on. I can't believe how long
Getting
it's
a little
been.
hot
But
here.
Mark, let's wrap it up a little bit
Sure.
here.
We are off the rails. He is Tom. I am Mark. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, our website. The key phrase, off the rails TM. Email us some articles to read on the show, or maybe you want to be a guest, off the rails TM at gmail.com. This podcast is available on SoundCloud, YouTube, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, all your favorite podcast hosting sites.
And be sure to come to this comedy show. It's going to be great. We're going to raise a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
is.
money. It's going to be a blast. We're going to have some craft beer. So thanks, guys, for
And
coming
pizza.
on. And pizza. John's Pizza up the
yeah.
road. So remember, universe, we're not good enough.
Thanks for tuning in, universe.